Alright, so some people have told me that I should talk about the new show Terra Nova, and I happen to think they're right. So here we go. Terra Nova. Alright, so I've heard about Terra Nova for months now, and I just heard that it was like one of the most expensive shows ever made on TV. Reports have said that it costs around $20 million, which is absurd if it's not HBO. Alright, so Terra Nova starts out in like the future 2150 something, I think, and the future sucks. The first shots of the Earth and you're like, it looks like shit. I would never want to live there. You can't even see the ground. It's just smog and wasteland and overpopulated. And so the bean counters of the future get the bright idea that, hey, if we screwed up here, we can go back 65 million years into the past and we'll just rebuild mankind from there. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that butterfly effect stuff that we've heard from other movies. They're like, well, if you step on a blade of grass 65 million years in the past, you're gonna change the future, like the moon's gonna blow up or something. But they cover their bases in this one by calling it an alternate timeline, which seems to happen a lot nowadays. It's almost like when writers found out that you can do like an alternate timeline kind of thing. They were like, oh, okay, you can have stuff happen here and it's not really the same timeline that we came from. So, you know, we cover our bases like that. There's no paradox. And so now they're in the past. They've terraformed this little colony run by Stephen Lang from Avatar, and now we have our show. So how is Terra Nova? Terra Nova is pretty interesting, but it's still on Fox, and we'll get to that in a second. First, when I saw the special effects, I was like, it's actually remarkably impressive. Especially the shots in the future, like that future looks really legit. Looks like something I'd see out of some movies. But the characters are pretty much exactly what you think they'd be. Like the main character's son, just cliche teen angst. He's all like, you left us for 2 years, Dad. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Were you not there when he punched out the cop to save his family? I don't know. In the future, they have population control, and they had one more kid than they should have had. So he decked a cop when they were searching his place. Although they're pretty lenient on their population control laws because nothing happened to the kid. It's not like they gas chambered the kid or anything like that. So I'm like, well, what's the point? They're gonna slap him on the wrist like, you know you shouldn't do that. Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool. It's to save the world. The guy's pretty generic. He's kind of like if Kevin Spacey had a kid with Hilo from Battlestar Galactica. He does his job. He's supposed to be a protagonist. Stephen Lang's character I like. I mean, he's pretty much the same character he played in Avatar, but a lot more likable. You like him, but you don't know if you should trust him because he seems like he has secrets. In fact, he does have secrets. Santa steroids. And the first shots you see of the dinosaurs, you're like, oh, the brachiosaurs. That's pretty cool. It reminds me of Jurassic Park, where the first dinosaurs you saw there were also brachiosaurs. But then you see other shots of dinosaurs and you're like, special effects aren't that great. They're just not. I think Jurassic Park set the bar so long ago, and just very few things have ever broken it. I think if you have a movie about dinosaurs and people that came out in 1993, and they were the first CGI dinosaurs ever made, and then you have a TV show like Terra Nova that comes out 18 years later, I wouldn't expect the 18-year-old movie with the first CGI dinosaurs ever to still hold up, but it does. That being said, a lot of things have better dinosaurs than Terra Nova. I don't know if it was the frame rate of the CGI dinosaurs or the lack of detail, but they just looked like cartoon dinosaurs. And when you have bad looking CGI dinosaurs in a show that is pretty much going to have a lot of CGI dinosaurs, it's probably not a good thing. And there are some intriguing things in the show. I mean, who are these Sixers? There's a colony of people who broke off from the main colony, so they're kind of like renegades. But are they actually bad guys? It's a pretty intriguing aspect. And there are these weird like chalk drawings on this rock that looks like mathematics and geometry, and you're like, what's that doing 65 million years in the past? That could be really cool, and then you find out what it is, and you're like, oh, it's not as cool as it could have been. Things like that kind of annoy me. You're like, okay, you have this going for you. It could be a really cool thing that really brings me onto the side of Terra Nova, and then you explain it and it's like, it's not as cool. Fox is gonna cancel you guys because they cancel everything. And that's my main concern. Fox is notorious for canceling shows. Shows that cost a lot less than Terra Nova. So I just don't expect that it's gonna last. I mean, look at Fringe. Fringe is one of the more intriguing shows on TV now. And last year it was teetering on the line as to whether or not Fox was gonna renew it for a 4th season. If Fringe was on the line, I just don't know that Terra Nova is gonna pass the test. It being less intriguing than Fringe and more expensive than Fringe. So there are things I like about Terra Nova. I like the concept. I like the concept of a shitty future and people going to the past and they're going to terraform the place and be like, all right, this is home now. Ooh, and adventures and dinosaurs, and that sounds awesome on paper. But there was really nothing in the 2-hour premiere that made me go, you know what, this is exactly why I need to watch Terra Nova next week. There was no hook. Nothing hooked me. And in a show that expensive on a network that cancels less expensive shows, you need a hook. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I guess it would be alright if there was no competition, but it's fall now, so all the shows are coming back, so Terra Nova has some straight up competition. But if Terra Nova does get canceled, I would say the Sci-Fi Network should pick up Terra Nova and it would fit in perfectly over there, but I just don't know that they're gonna have the budget to pull it off. So did you catch Terra Nova? What did you think of Terra Nova? And if you haven't yet, are you gonna start watching Terra Nova? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you wanna see more, click right here to see more.